could have huge financial implications for the sector. Our environment correspondent Judy Hobson is at the Cheshire Show this evening. So, Judy, just tell us exactly how bad it's been for farmers.
Well, it's been glorious weather here today at the Cheshire Show, the biggest agricultural show in the region. But yes, the weather over the past 18 months has been so bad that farmers have had really a very bad time. And as you say, the National Farmers Union says that's unprecedented. Well, I've been travelling around the region speaking to farmers to see how they're coping. I've been speaking to farmers here. It is what they're talking about. You know, the agriculture industry is worth about £1.5 billion to the economy. Well, I start my reports talking to an arable farmer on Merseyside. This is the worst harvest Olly Harrison has ever known. Just a quarter of his crop survived the winter.
We put 100 acres of oilseed rape in. This is the remaining 18 acres that survived the winter. The rest of it was either eaten by slugs or flooded out.
Oilseed rape makes vegetable oil and diesel fuel. Not only is the harvest behind, it's poorer in quality too. Where should it be? What should it look like?
Well, really, you should not be able to see you, and it should be at least, 5 foot high.
Across the country, 30% of oilseed rape plants have failed to grow, and wheat is down by 25%. Last year's wet summer delayed winter planting. Then came prolonged autumn rain, which flooded fields and rotted crops. Next, the snow, which killed many of the crops that were left. And finally, a late spring delayed the planting of the second set of crops and affected their growth. Most arable farms, says the Farmers Union, will take at least 3 years to recover. But this year, weather has affected every type of farm.
We know that the farming charities are seeing higher numbers of farmers coming to talk to them. There is a chance some businesses will change structure. That may lead to some businesses stopping to trade in agriculture.
The last 18 months have cost Olly £140,000. His business is diverse and big enough to survive, but there's still a cost.
We just can't invest in anything to keep moving forward, different technologies and different machinery and whatever, and pay ourselves.
Well, the bad weather doesn't just affect farmers, it affects us too. Last year, these chips, for example, cost 30p less. Robin Cropper grows the potatoes for those chips. He's had to charge more to break even.
We were able to mitigate some of our losses by increased prices because the price of potatoes went up because of the shortage. However, some of my colleagues who were on fixed price contracts had no benefit from a price increase, so they really had a tough time.
We've also paid more for cauliflower, lettuces, strawberries and even milk and meat, all thanks to the weather. Olly's family has farmed in Prescott for more than a century, but its future will depend on adapting to the climate. Well, Adam Quinney is from the National Farmers Union. Adam, Olly, we heard there, saying that he's had to diversify. He rents out office space, he rents out some of his fields. Is that what farmers have to do more of? I know they've been doing that for years, but is that the future?
Well, the core has to be producing food. That's what we're really about. And there's lots of people in the world who need food, both here and abroad. So, yes, you will diversify, but the core of people's businesses will be producing food for British people.
We heard the National Farmers Union in that piece as well, saying some farmers will go out of business. Presumably, you're hoping not many, but how bad really is it for them?
It's been really, really tough this last 18 months because of the weather last year, and in farming, the impact of that takes a while to feed through. So there'll be poor crops in the ground now to sell this autumn. There's higher feed bills for dairy farmers. All these things will take time to work through. We know the long term's good, but this next few months and possibly years will be really tough for most farmers.
We can't control the weather, but what can we do to help farmers?
The best thing to do is to go and look for the little red tractor. Look for the red tractor and buy those products. That's the best way of supporting British farmers.
So you're saying buy British, but farmers are saying to me, people don't care where their food comes from. They just want to buy cheap, even if it's imported.
I think you've seen the food scandals in the last few months back in February, where things weren't correctly labelled. People do care where their food comes from. They want food where know where it comes from, that it's good and it's affordable.
Adam Quinney, thank you very much indeed. Well, we'll be back later on with Diane, and she'll have more about this wonderful show on its 162nd anniversary.
Lovely. Judy, thank you very much. The Culture Minister, Ed Vase